Hi, and welcome to the new FarmShots. Let's go ahead and get logged in and take a look. So you'll see here, very similar look to the old FarmShots, but just a new color scheme and a few buttons moved around. One of the things that you'll notice right away is that this menu bar in the top left-hand corner has been removed, and now those items are kind of distributed on the screen. You have your farm's dashboard, your reports, and your admin panel buttons. Now on the right-hand side, you have your settings, your how-tos, and your account settings. Here we see the farms listed in the card view like they were previously, and also you can see them listed in the list view like before. One of the changes that was made is that when you click on View Fields, now you can actually see the boundaries of fields within those farms. And then you could click on one of those and it'll take you straight to that field. Here we can add a farm. This button was previously at the bottom right, but now it has been moved here along with these other options. The search option is still a feature, but instead of it being a button on its own, it's just permanently placed here at the top of the screen. Let's go ahead and dive into a farm here. As you can see, this still looks normal. It is the same view as before. What you will notice is that the image list has moved from the right-hand side over to the left-hand side. The tools at the top have been moved to around the screen and made a little bit easier, and were moved to not have so many different things up here. You'll notice on the left-hand side that these images still come in the same. They've got the date with the satellite source, and then they have the icon that displays cloud cover, the download button, and then the button that shows multiple satellite captures for one particular farm. As you can see, these buttons are the same. They just look a little bit different. So the download button is the same, just looks a little bit different, as well as the cloud icons here. Instead of being dots, they now are shaped like actual clouds. We can scroll down through here like we could before to get to other dates of captured images. So we'll go ahead and click on one here, and you'll see that the images look like they did before with the NDVI overlay. We can click on this icon here, and this will show us our fields. This icon will show us our notes, and this icon will show us our prescriptions. On the left-hand side, you also have the options button like you had previously. Everything still remains the same within here, except for the algorithm section. That has now been moved over to the far right-hand side. And when you click on it, it's a drop-down list that shows you the different algorithms. You have your main three algorithms here, and then if you click See More, it will show the remaining other algorithms that are in the list. Back in the options section, you can still change the cloud cover, so you can change whether or not you see fields that have cloud cover, or if you just filter it out to where you see only fields that don't have cloud cover, and then you can select your sources like you could previously. If we click here on the fields option, we can see a list of the fields here. We can go in and we can add a field by clicking this button here, or we can select a field that's already established within this farm. If we click on that, it'll take us straight to that field and kind of zoom into that particular field, and then it'll give us a list of the information about that particular field. We can click this pencil icon to make edits, or we can click this trash can icon to delete this particular field. If we click on this pencil icon, we can edit the name, we can edit the crop, it'll tell us what the area of that field is, and now we can put a planting date here. We also have the ability to add a custom property. So if you click that, say you want to tell what kind of hybrid or variety that you've planted on this particular field, you can put that in here, and then you can put what that hybrid or variety was, and then you can save that for this particular field. If we click the back arrow, it'll go back to this field. And if we click the back arrow again, it'll take us back to our list of fields. We can add a field, and if you'll notice that the mouse automatically has the polygon tool selected. So all we have to do is just go and begin to draw that field. And we don't actually have to click on a button to get to that polygon tool. It's already selected for us. Then we can search a field if we want to by address or its latitude and longitude. We can give it a name, tell what crop it is, and like before, planting date or add a custom property. The next item is the notes item. If you click here, you can see we have several different notes. Previously, when you made a note, you would make a note and it would go to your reports, but that was the only place that it would save. Now, when you make a note, these notes are saved within this area on a particular farm, and you can refer back to them and click on them. And when it clicks on that, it will highlight the area that you've dropped your pin. It will tell you what field, when you dropped that pin, what your note was, and then if you want to look at the image that you captured, you can click on this and your image will appear in a larger view. We can go back and view other notes, or we can add a new note to this particular field. You'll notice that these notes stay here now and they do not disappear, but if you don't want them to show in the field, you can click hide those notes. The next item is our prescription generator. If we click on that, previously, whenever you created a prescription, it would disappear after you downloaded it. Now, once you create these prescriptions, they stay in your list on that particular farm. You can refer back to them by clicking on them, or you can add a new prescription. Let's add a new prescription, and you'll see the window that comes up has several different options here. We can do seeding, crop protection, or fertilizer. And then previously, like we had before, we have the option to hand draw these zones, or we can do zones by color. So let's do a fertilizer and a hand draw zone, and we'll select OK. You can see now on the left-hand side, this kind of goes in a linear fashion, step by step. So first, we'll select a field. We can either select a field in the drop-down list, or we can select a field by clicking on it on the right-hand side. So let's select a field. We've selected this field, and we'll click Continue. Now it's going to take us to step 2, and we'll choose our product. So it wants to know what type of fertilizer we're using. We're going to select liquid. And now it wants to know what our makeup of that particular fertilizer is. We're going to select. We can select these from the pre-existing list, or we can add in our own. So we'll select 2800. And then if we use the scroll bar and scroll down a little bit, it's going to ask us what the density of that fertilizer is. So we'll leave this default. We click Continue. And now it takes us to the zone creation. You don't have to click on any button to bring up your polygon tool. As soon as you move onto the map, you'll see that the blue dot is already highlighted on your mouse, and you can go ahead and draw your zones in. Just like you could before, you'll just draw each zone in, and then once you're finished, you'll click Continue here on the left-hand side, and you can see each zone that's been created. Now we're to step 4, and it's asking us to apply our rates. So we're going to go in here, and we're just going to put some arbitrary numbers in. And now we will click Continue. And now we're at step 5, where it allows us to review our prescription. We can see each zone and what we've applied on that zone and the total acres. And then our other information here, our average rate and our area and our total. If everything looks like how we want it, we can click on Save. And now that prescription has been generated. We can download that prescription or we can delete that prescription. If we click the back button, now we'll see that prescription at the top of the list, as well as our other prescriptions that we've created previously. On the right-hand side here, you'll see that the algorithm and color scale has been moved to the right-hand side. This now has a number scale that shows you the scale of the NDVI or the particular algorithm that you're selected on. Our farm name is here on the right-hand side instead of the upper left-hand corner. And our scouting view button is right here next to the algorithms. If we select scouting view and we select a field, it'll show us that scouting view. And on the right-hand side, it'll actually show us how that scouting view is being calculated in that particular field. If we click back on farms, we can get back to our farms dashboard. And these are the main changes that have been made to the FarmShots platform and the new redesign. There will be continued support for the old FarmShots, as well as enhancements and support for the new FarmShots. That completes our walkthrough of the new FarmShots redesign. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope that you find it useful for you and your operation. Thank you for growing with us.